Greetings YouTube and welcome to a video that I promised I would record, and you are only as good as your word in this life. And about a week ago I posted a video of the data mined information of the new 5-star crystals thanks to Otrix, and here I am posting the updated version of them, grading each one from best to worst value because your dungeon artifacts are extremely important and they are precious and they deserve to be taken care of with the finest amount of patience and resolve, and I am here to remind you of what you should use. As a reminder, the 5-star system has changed. What do you need, at least 15 or 16 5-stars now? It has nothing to do with prestige. This has anchored some people, and yet here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5-star crystals to look at. Let's get started. I am going to assume for the sake of these reviews that you do not have any of these champions because, of course, if you do, that dramatically changes what you go for. But to help as many people in the community as possible, you just have to assume that you don't have anything because all chances of going for these crystals have to be equal based off of the notion that your roster is incomplete. And with that being said, this Chaos Crystal is pretty dang good value. Corvus Glaive and Captain America Infinity War are instantly incredible champions that will help you with your roster immediately. Captain America Infinity War has aged like a fine wine in this community. At first, we thought he was pretty good. Now we think he's freaking incredible. And Corvus is the same way. It is amazing to think that at one point, Corvus actually went for below 20 million points in the 5-star featured arena. That would never happen now, and yet that's what happened in May, I believe, or at least late April. Now, the only champion in this pool that you could argue is just garbage is Colossus, but at least you could tell your friends you wasted about a month of your life getting a Colossus. Otherwise, OG Iron Man when awakened saves you a lot of potions and revives with that Arc Overload. Civil Warrior is underrated for his power control. Rocket Raccoon is also underrated, though I wish Rocket had more health. Kingpin used to be insanely overhyped and now has dropped down to just being, I think, in the middle tier of champions, especially on offense. Agent Venom, highly underrated even still, a great defender and solid attacker, especially when Tenacity's RNG works. Loki is the most underrated and underappreciated champ in the game, arguably, in my book. Someone that I would never say you had a bad pull if you pulled a 5-star Loki. And Sentry used to be trash. He got a small buff from Kabam. And now with Synergies in November 2018 is really quite good. So there's only one bad champ in this, and it's Colossus, who you have a 10% chance of pulling. And even then, I think it'd be kind of funny to say, hey, I got my first Colossus in this crystal where everybody else was better. So I'm going to give this crystal an 8.5 out of 10. And I think that everybody should strongly consider going for this if you don't have a Captain America Infinity War or Corvus, or if you only have one of those or both of those and they're not awakened. Now, we're going to move from the Chaos Crystal to the Nightmare Crystal, where you will see that we start off with 2 straight bangers. 2 female badasses. They are the power of the women's movement in Marvel Contest of Champions, especially in the new season of Alliance War. Medusa, awakened of course, and Domino doesn't need to be awakened to be as good. Iron Patriot, Hulkbuster, Ant-Man, and Satan herself are all 4 trash garbage memes if you miss on Medusa and Domino. Now Falcon, not bad on the special one unblockable node, but still not somebody anybody should ever celebrate. Black Panther Civil War is good on defense, but not on offense. Green Goblin and MODOK are 2 upper middle tier champs that I think are very solid overall. So you have like a 4 out of 10 chance of getting a good to very good champ and then a bunch of trash. I'm going to put this below the first one we reviewed. If the first one was an 8 out of 10 for the, or 8.5 out of 10, for the grade, I'm going to put this one at like a 6 to a 6.5. Still not terrible, but far from amazing. Now, after the Nightmare Crystal, we have the Genesis Crystal, which contains Archangel, incredible, Dr. Voodoo, very good, especially awakened, Superior Iron Man, just like OG Iron Man, good when awakened. Captain Marvel, extremely underrated. Ronan, extremely underrated, especially for utility when awakened. Vulture, fine. Rhino, I love fighting with Rhino because you don't have to worry about being intercepted when you charge forward. But, certainly a meme for most people. She-Hulk, Fiona Shrek deserves better. She's pretty much trash. Karnak, good true strike ability, but still is lacking. And Moon Knight also is determined by the moon, which of course is a negative. I think this crystal is solid, but certainly doesn't have the same ceiling that the Domino Medusa crystal or certainly the Corvus Captain America Infinity War crystal has. Therefore, I can only give this a 5.5, max 6 out of 10. But at the same time, I think you can't have any really terrible misses on this, assuming you don't have a Rhino or She-Hulk already. If you do, you might be cussing out a storm, and hopefully your grandmother won't hear you in the basement if you get yourself a She-Hulk or a Rhino. Now, we are going to go down to the War Crystal, where we see Crossbones, very, very solid champion. Iron Man Infinity War, incredible champion. Cyclops, fine awakened. Gambit, very underrated with special 1 lock. Phoenix, incredible prestige, and some people really love her. I wouldn't put her at the top, but I think she's certainly not garbage. Hyperion, one of the best champions in the game. Now, I got to tell you this. I got messaged when I put out the data mining info of this from somebody who said, Prof, you said OG Daredevil is going to be in these. He has never been a 5-star release in the game. So clearly, you are just trying to do clickbait or misinformation or whatever you always do seemingly in your videos, according to this person. And I think you should pull the video because it clearly can't be true that OG Daredevil would be offered in a crystal. Well, I'm just telling you what the game says. I don't see Netflix by his name. And so I am to presume that OG Daredevil is in this crystal, which would be a first as a 5-star. Now, I followed up with the gentleman or lady, I don't know who it was, on the line app to ask if they saw that the data mining had actually been confirmed, and somehow, mysteriously, they had deleted their lineup account. What are the odds? But I'm just saying, maybe this is Netflix Daredevil, but it doesn't say Netflix, so maybe, just maybe, like me, you love OG Daredevil, even though he's limited as a 4-star, and he can dodge all projectiles with a high sig level. I do think since he's been released as a 6-star, this loses as much value as it would have been a couple years ago had he been introduced as a 5-star. Spidey Gwen, straight meme champ. Juggernaut, I have a soft spot for because Juggernaut cleared a lot of content, including the Collector back in the day, but certainly not a champion you'd celebrate. Thor Jane Foster, incredibly underappreciated, but still not a top champion. I don't think this has nearly the ceiling that any other crystal has because other than Iron Man Infinity War, who certainly is still not a Ghost or even a Star-Lord when awakened in terms of skill, I'm going to put this at a 4 out of 10. I think it's fine, but I would not encourage you to spend any of your artifacts on this War Crystal. Now, moving on. We have the Death Crystal. Stark Enhanced Spider-Man. Need I say more? Now, Kabam knows that is the top prize for this crystal, and because of that, they are going to balance Starky out with, this might as well be called the Prof Hoff crystal, which is ironic because every time I go for Stark Enhanced Spider-Man, it's the death of my roster, hence why it's called the Death Crystal. But Quake, you know my unhealthy obsession with her, how much I love playing with the champion, how many usage I think come from her. For the record, I'm never going to put her in the same place as even a Blade or a Starky or even maybe a Corvus, but I think she is right up there with the best of the best, and so she belongs in this upper tier crystal. But when you don't get her or Starky, it kind of falls off. Psylocke is great for power control, but doesn't hit nearly as hard as the rest of the top mutant champs like Archangel and Iceman, Omega Red, or Domino. Cyclops, blue team, great when awakened, but still never with the ceiling of the other top mutants. King Groot sucks to fight in Alliance War, sucks to fight for you in questing. Venom Pool, underrated special 1, especially with the debuff steel and the kind of random RNG that you get from that, but not somebody that I would celebrate getting. Elektra used to be amazing. She's kind of taken a hit in the hierarchy of MCOC. I think she's just better than okay, but not amazing now. Black Panther, same thing. Stacks bleed for days, but I wish he had something better. It amazes me that the OG Black Panther is not nearly as valuable as Killmonger, who Spoiler alert, Black Panther defeats Killmonger in the Black Panther movie, and yet Killmonger is clearly the best champion out of the Black Panther Civil War, and Killmonger trio. Iron Fist, I think he might have actually improved silently from the last buff. I've seen people send me videos of crazy armor stacks for days, y'all, but still not somebody that you're going to celebrate if you get. And Mordo sucks to fight on defense and is very frustrating to fight on offense, and that is the Death Crystal. And last but certainly not least, we are going to go through each one and refresh you on these stats. So the Chaos Crystal, I think arguably if all values are equal, this is the best champion crystal to go for. You have a ceiling of Corvus Glaive and Captain America Infinity War. Colossus is the worst champion by far, but even he's kind of funny to laugh at if you get him, especially for the first time. I still don't have a Colossus in my roster upon the time of recording this. Iron Man OG is fine if he's awakened, not certainly a terrible champion. Civil Warrior, fine. Rocket Raccoon, good. Kingpin, fine. Agent Venom, very good. Loki, very good. Sentry, very good. Not too many misses on that crystal, 8.5 out of 10. Then we have, of course, the Nightmare Crystal, which Medusa and Domino are incredible. Medusa needs to be awakened. Domino does not. Iron Patriot, Hulkbuster, Ant-Man, Kamala Khan / Satan herself, and Falcon are all memes. Black Panther Civil War is fine. Green Goblin and MODOK are good. This is like a 6.5 out of 10. I still rate the Chaos Crystal as the best. Genesis Crystal. Archangel and Dr. Voodoo are decently high ceiling. Superior Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Ronin, Vulture, and Rhino are fine. She-Hulk, pretty much a meme. Karnak is good with True Strike, and Moon Knight is underrated. I think this one's just a solid like 6. I don't think Archangel and Dr. Voodoo are the same peak as Medusa and Domino, but they're not that far behind. So there you go. The Evolution Crystal. Ghost Rider is a champion that I think needs the top billing. I want to awaken mine so much, but at the same time, Massacre is a champion that also has aged like a fine wine. We thought that he was somebody who at first really wasn't as good as some of their skill champs, but now we know that he has some incredible utility. Magneto, trash. Old Balls Logan, still trash. Proxima Moon Knight is totally overhyped, but still pretty good. Nightcrawler is a champion that sucks on defense once awakened. I guess I shouldn't say sucks, but he certainly loses some of the best value of his champion. Howard the Duck, underrated for Unblockable Special 2, but still not a champ that I would root for. Punisher 2099, if you took him out, you wouldn't miss him. Spider-Man Miles Morales is fine. Electro is underrated, given that Electro is a rare champion that was not introduced as a 5-star. I would put this also at a 5.5 out of 10. Ghost Rider and Massacre are the top champions, but even then, not the same as the other crystals. And then we have the War Crystal. Crossbones, Iron Man Infinity War are the top. I think Iron Man Infinity War is good, but still not great. Certainly not to the level of Ghost or Star-Lord on offense as a tech champion. And then the rest, Cyclops, Gambit, Phoenix. Hyperion certainly is incredible. I just think this one is kind of unique, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Spidey-Gwen, Juggernaut, and even someone like Gambit prevent it from being higher of a score than that. But if you don't have a Hyperion or an Iron Man Infinity War, I would strongly recommend it. And then besides the War Crystal, you have the Death Crystal. Obviously, Stark-Enhanced Spider-Man is the top champion in this crystal. Quake is still amazing. Psylocke, solid power control, but certainly not on the level of Stark-Enhanced or Quake. Blue Team Cyclops is good awakened. King Groot, fine as a defender. Venompool, underrated as an attacker, but still not great. Elektra, also underrated, but still not as good as she probably was, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Black Panther, underrated for bleed damage, but not as good as Killmonger. Iron Fist maybe got a silent buff, but at the same time is not a champion you're going to exactly celebrate when you pull him. And Mordo, great on defense, terrible on offense. I think I have covered everything. I have done my best in the 14 plus minutes that we have recorded this to cover everything. I apologize if I missed somebody, but I wanted to give you a minimum of 10 minutes, a maximum of 15 minutes for this. We are reaching 14 and a half minutes, so I'm going to cut this off. I want to tell you this. When in doubt, go for the Chaos Crystal. That gets my top vote, even though it doesn't have Stark-Enhanced Spider-Man, which I'll be going for. It has the best overall value, given all the champs you can get. Colossus is the only terrible miss, and even that you can laugh about. So there you have it, YouTube. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. A promise is a promise. I have graded out of 10 every single one of these crystals, And I really, really hope that OG Daredevil is truly the champion in that crystal, because that means we finally get to see him without even needing a Grandmaster featured crystal for OG Daredevil, which is pretty cool. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and good luck in all of your dungeon crystal pulls. I hope to God that this finally gives me a Stark Spidey when I open mine, hopefully at the end of the week.